Hi folks, how you doing? This is Iqbal. Some people ask me to do an analysis on Palantir stock. There is some kind of uncertainty on future price movement on this stock. In this video, I will do financial and PE analysis on Palantir to find min-max price projection for this stock. I will also compare the analysis with Nvidia to understand if Palantir stock is undervalued or overvalued compared with Nvidia. Now, let's get started. You see this table on your screen. This has the summary of the financial data for last 5 quarters. We also have column H and column I that has year over year growth and quarter over quarter growth. So year over year means the latest quarter this year versus the same quarter last year. And the quarter over quarter means the latest quarter versus previous quarter. So starting with the revenue, so if you take a look for last 5 quarters, year over year growth is 19% and quarter over quarter is 8.9%. The net income also going in the right direction, 200% up year over year and 30% up quarter over quarter. Profit margin also going in the right direction, 152% up year over year and 19% up quarter over quarter. Gross margin also going in the right direction, but not too much, only 3% up year over year and 1.8% quarter over quarter. EBITDA margin, that is earning before interest, taxes, and depreciation, and that's negative 47% year over year and positive 44% quarter over quarter. This means that on the margin side, it's a mixed picture. Profit margin going in the right direction, but the EBITDA margin not so great at this point. EPS quarter over quarter 33% up and year over year is 177% up. It's also going in the right direction. Free cash flow per share is also growing quarter over quarter and also year over year. The debt to equity ratio, it's also going in the right direction, no change from the previous quarter and 30% down year over year, meaning that Palantir is doing a good job on managing their debt. Now let's take a look EPS. You see this table? I have the EPS for last 6 quarters projected versus actual and the earnings surprise. Last 2 quarters, positive earnings surprise, and then we had a miss, and then again we had a positive earnings surprise. In terms of the future projection, these are the 4 quarters and the future projection. So compared with the next quarter projection versus the Q4 2024, you see 12.5% growth, meaning this versus this. So this tells that 4 quarters from now versus next quarter, we are expecting 12.5% growth on earning. And that's not so great compared with the other AI stocks. We'll compare with Nvidia in a bit. Now let's talk about the most important thing, that is forward PE ratio, and try to do min-max price projection for Palantir. So I have this table listed here. This has the EPS forward, EPS trailing 12 months. The EPS forward is this quarter actual earnings plus next 3 quarters earning projection. And EPS TTM is this quarter actual earning plus last 3 quarters actual earning. And I also have the adjusted closing price for last 3 weeks. So using those data, I calculated the P ratio with respect to trailing 12 months EPS and also P ratio forward with respect to forward EPS. So at this point, forward EPS is 71.9. That is much higher than Nvidia. We'll talk about Nvidia in a bit. I also have this table. This contains the trailing PE and forward PE for last 12 quarters. And I also have the EPS actual versus projected and the closing price for the last 12 quarters. So in order to be consistent, I'm capturing the earnings on the same day when the earnings was released for the same quarter. You see, these are the dates when earnings was released. I also have the earnings surprise for all 12 quarters and also the earning projection for next 4 quarters. So using those data, I came up with a min average and maximum price projections for Palantir, and this is here. Let me go over the formula with you. So now to calculate the minimum stock price projection, I'm using EPS forward. You see H4 and multiplying with the R28, that is this value. So this is basically min, average and maximum forward PE for last 6 quarters. Okay, so I'm trying to calculate the forward PE scenario, min, average, maximum, and median value for last 6 quarters. So using that factor in the formula R28, and then also I'm adding the min, average, and maximum stock surprise for last 12 quarters. For the min, I'm putting 0 because there was some negative surprise. I don't want to put a negative value there. So this gives me the minimum stock price 13.17. Same formula for average using H4 and then multiplying with the average forward PE, that is 57, and then multiplying with the average earnings per price, that gives me 21.79. And same thing for maximum using the EPS forward and the maximum forward PE and then maximum earnings per price for last 12 quarters. So that gives me 27.34. So in my opinion, this should be the price range before the next earning release. If you take a look at this chart, this is Palantir, 90-day, 1 hour. You see the maximum price it touched was 27.25, and that is very close to the maximum price that I just projected, that is 27.34. So after touching the 27.25, it makes sense for Palantir to go down because it was too high at that point. So at this point, Palantir is 23.01. That is still higher than the average stock price. So at this point, Palantir is still overvalued. Now, let's take a look at Nvidia and compare it with Nvidia. I have added column J and column K, and that's for Nvidia. Now we can compare side by side. In all of these areas, Nvidia is beating Palantir. See, revenue much higher than Palantir. Net income Nvidia much higher than Palantir. Profit margin pretty close. Gross margin much higher than Palantir. And same thing with the EPS and free cash flow per share. Talking about the EPS, we saw that for Palantir, this quarter versus Q4 2024, we're expecting 12.5% increase. Now let's take a look at Nvidia. And for Nvidia, Q1 versus Q4 2024, we're expecting 23% increase, almost double than Palantir. Now talking about the forward PE ratio for Nvidia, let's take a look. Nvidia forward PE at this point is 39.6 compared with Palantir, that is 71.91 for Palantir. So Palantir price to earning is much higher than Nvidia. So this tells me that Palantir is overvalued compared with Nvidia. So that's all for today. If I summarize today's discussion, I see Palantir financials are going in the right direction. Company is growing quarter over quarter, but the concerning point is the earning growth per quarter is not as great as Nvidia and other AI stocks. And also, the P ratio at this point is much higher than Nvidia. So I'm guessing that at this point, Palantir is overvalued. So guys, these min-max and the average values are based on the earning projections I got from different websites. For example, showup.com. So if these earning projection changes, then min-max and the average values will be invalid. Then we'll have to calculate the new min-max and the average price projections for Palantir. Okay? So that's all for today. I hope you like this video. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you more tomorrow. Take care.